Guess what, motherfucker? Hustle Bro just increased his client click-through rate 300%!
Great. And how are you doing that?
You know, just clicked on it 97 times myself.
Bro, that is fucking amateur. You use pictures of the big booty white bitches in the ad.
What the fuck?
It is all about the B and the biatches. Big booty Becky gets my Bengali boner bumping and banging.
What's up, guys? In this video we're talking client quick wins, and let me tell you the why. I hate to break it to you guys, but clients by and large do not trust marketers, and one of the last things you want to do is do all that work, all that prospecting, land a client, and then because they've had so many bad experiences in the past, they get real nervous and they cancel on you. And instead of sticking around and paying you for the long term, they just don't have enough faith in the process. And nothing will give them more faith in the process than if you engineer what I call a client quick win, something you can do in the first 24, 48, 72 hours just to get them a little win so that they can see, hey, this person actually knows what they're doing and this process is going to work out. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do these in this video right here. For those of you guys who don't know me already, my name's Frank Finn. I wrote these two best-selling books here, Passive Automated Recurring Income, Beyond the Agency Box, which you can find a link for below this video. And I've built 3 of my own agencies up to 100 plus clients over almost 20 years now. And I've helped thousands of you out there to live this more beach, less laptop lifestyle. Let's get into the good shit.
Mode engaged, looms loaded, AI's humming. Let's go.
Okay, so something important that you guys may not realize is the more you retain clients, the more money you will make, the easier this business will be, and also you'll actually have real enterprise value, meaning somebody would actually pay you money to acquire your business because you have long-term clients that stay and pay. And by the way, most agencies do not experience this. Most agencies lose clients in 3 to 4 months, and that literally means you only get 3 to 4 payments, right? And when you have retention, like let's say there's an agency that's keeping people for 3 years, well, that's 36 payments compared to 3. Would you rather get 36 payments or 3 for your average client, right? So I want to show you guys an eloquently simple way to do this that is really like $1 million idea. In fact, it's this big of an idea.
$1 million.
$1 million, which by the way, 36 payments just is a lot bigger than 3 to 4. Okay, so let's talk about how to engineer a client quick win. I'm gonna give you guys an analogy because if you understand this, you'll realize it's actually a lot easier than most people make. So this is my attempt at drawing a football field, okay? So it's got 2 end zones, 50 yards. And for those of you guys who are from the rest of the world and you don't play what we call football over here, the object, oversimplifying the game, is when you get the ball, go all the way to the other team's end, okay? So there's a process of doing that, and the reason I say that is typically sometimes teams will go in a single play, but it's more than likely like you'll see like 13 plays, 78 yards, is that they went 99 yards, and it took them some time, and it took them multiple plays, and this is a process for converting cold strangers, which by the way is what most clients will ask you for and assume they need, is bring me strangers. Problem with strangers is, using the football metaphor, is strangers know nothing about you. So they're on the 1 yard line, they're 99 yards away, right? So if we want to engineer a quick win, what we really have to do is go, what's within 10 yards for the client already, okay? So I want you to, I'll give you guys a couple of examples for this, and I'm just kind of like shooting this off the top of my head, so they may not be perfect as they come out. They may come out a little bit like this.
You shall not pass!
So imagine, for example, our target client is a restaurant. I think a restaurant's an easy example, and you can kind of see the analogies. These same things are true in your client's business. Well, if somebody's at a restaurant, the easiest person to convert is not a stranger over here who's 99 yards away and has never heard of this restaurant, but is actually just to make another offer to somebody who's sitting in the restaurant right now. So like you see a lot of restaurants do this. Do you want to have dessert? But there's nothing stopping them from going to people like, hey, we're going to have a steak special tomorrow. You guys should come back again tomorrow. I want to cook you dinner twice, and have them hand out a little something at the table. And all of a sudden, like 10% of those people go, yeah, I'm going to come back tomorrow for the steak special. And all of a sudden, They signed 10, 20 clients the first day they started working with you, right? So the easiest and closest thing, or the closest to the end zone kind of thing, is who's paying them right the fuck now, right? Now the next thing is we want to go a little farther out. Sometimes clients have that, sometimes you don't have access to it. And the next thing we want to look at is what's kind of like within 5 yards. And the next question is like, who's paid them before? Right? So actually, a real life example, I wrote about it in the book, but I had a friend, he's a serial entrepreneur, he buys way too many companies. March of 2020, he had started a process before to acquire a roofing company in the Los Angeles area. It was doing like, 1.2 million a year or something like that. And then the acquisition was completed March of 2020. And if you guys don't remember, the world went fucking completely apeshit and there were lockdowns and stuff like that. And all of a sudden his roofing business that was making like $40,000 a month, all of a sudden was like losing $40,000 a month. And he said, I might have to give this thing back to the bank. Frankie, is there anything we can do to get strangers in the door? And I'm not saying you can't get strangers in the door, but usually strangers happen, 13 plays, 78 yards over 7 minutes of time, right? So I asked him the question, like, do you have anybody who's paying you now? He said, not really. I said, do you have anybody who's paid you before? He said, well, they got a back room full of invoices and boxes. That's everyone who's ever worked for us. I said, great. Can you get your secretary to put that into an Excel sheet? It took him a week. By the way, in today's age, I would use ChatGPT. You can actually like organize stuff like that for you, but we didn't have that at the time. So she took the box and she organized it into a spreadsheet, and I just emailed the people and I said something like this: hey, it's your roofer. I know we haven't talked in a long time, but man, I miss you. Are there any like small jobs or leaks or anything like that you've been putting off? If you know anybody who needs my help, you might just give me a call. Didn't talk to him for 6 months after that. Then finally I was like, hey David, what happened? He said, oh yeah, we made a couple $100,000 from that email. And that was able to keep me afloat. And then eventually, like when lockdowns and stuff eased up, we were able to kind of build a business again. And that was the secret of tapping into people who've already given them money before, right? So let's go just a little bit further out here. Businesses typically do this part really, really bad. In fact, this is how bad they normally are at it.
You're gonna beat me? At golf? Oh, you're on. You're in big trouble though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
All right? So the next question is, if we're looking for like who's 10, 20 yards away, the next question is, who almost gave them money? Right? So I think Mark D, he was over here. He was running Facebook ads for a lot of people. And I asked him how it was going. He said, not so well. To be honest with you, Frankie, I don't even think I'm that good at Facebook ads. And we were just talking. I said, Mark, what did you do before you got into the agency game? He said, I actually worked in my industry. I was an HVAC salesman. I said, were you any good? He said, I was the top selling person in the entire company. And I said, oh yeah, how did you do that? And he said, well, everybody thinks it's like something magic, but all I did is if you give 10 estimates, you close 3 of them. I would just wait a week and call back the 7 people who didn't buy and say, hey, like, was it a money thing? Is there anything we could have done to win your business? And he said, most times they'd go, yeah, it was kind of a money thing. And they would see if there were some kind of terms or payment plans, or maybe the boss would take a lower price or whatever. And he said, I would win 1 out of 10. So I'd call 7 people back and I'd get 1 of them. So everybody else was closing 3 out of 4. I was closing 3 out of 10. I was closing 4 out of 10. And all he did was follow up with the almost. By the way, we turned that whole thing into a service. He signed 20 clients the first month he did it. And instead of going, hey, we'll bring you strangers, hey, we'll call back the people who almost bought from you. And by the way, they're used to paying a $2,000 commission for it. And the thing about this is the path to points getting on the board happen a lot faster. And because these are people who either almost gave him money or gave him money before or are giving him money right now, right? Like that's always going to be a lot faster, easier path to a win. And one of the coolest things is when the client just has that shocked look on their face, like, holy crap, I hired you 24 hours and you already brought me a couple of new sales. They kind of look at you like this.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I'm not going to lie, we just put that cutscene in there because I wanted to have Samuel L. Jackson say motherfucker in my video. That's the only reason why. So I hope you guys are getting some ideas here of the hamster wheel turning for what's really possible here, right? Because it's a lot easier, right? Like we ran a restaurant. Okay, yeah, we could run some ads and we could do some Groupons and we could do some SEO and try and get them strangers. But man, there's people eating in the restaurant right now. If we just said, hey, do you want to come back tomorrow? Or do you want to bring a friend? We got a special offer to bring your friend. Or if we contact people who were like just there last weekend, say, hey, we got a special. Y'all want to come back? Or we talked to the people who came in on a Friday night and it was super busy and said, oh shit, we don't have time to wait an hour. And we said, hey, we're completely open on a Tuesday. We'd still love for you guys to try us, right? Chances are you're gonna generate customers and sales and cash, which by the way, they're not really after new people. They're really after new cash, just so you guys know. And so when we engineer a quick win to bring them new cash, usually new cash comes from the same old people, right? The new cash doesn't mean new people, right? Like that's a disconnect that they have. And when you learn these little shortcuts, by the way, we have a bunch of tools and templates, by the way, already created for this, for those of you guys who are already in the Wolfpack Mastermind. Which is our mastermind for those of you agency owners who want to go phoneless and meetingless. But I wanted to show you guys this because if you just engineered one little quick win for a client, what happens is there's like a kind of zone of death. And I used to experience this in SEO, where around 3-4 months, clients just start getting real nervous. They're like, man, I've paid you $10,000 now, and the phone hasn't rang even one time. And often, they handed you an SEO thing where they were on, their ranking, they were number 100 and you moved them up to number 7. And so it's like you just have to keep going. But they start to lose faith in the process and they start to cancel and they start to worry. But man, if you engineered a quick win early on and you say, hey, I want to do something more long-term, it's going to take us 6 to 12 months to get there. But I promise you, we're going to get there. Just like we got there with this other thing I did. They will believe you and they will not cancel and they will have way more trust and faith in the process. And you do that by engineering a quick win. So, those are the questions to ask. Who's buying it now? Who bought it before? Who almost bought it? How could we win them back? How could we add something on, right? The answer to that question, by the way, the simpler and easier you make it for a client, the more they're going to stay and pay you for a long ass motherfucking time. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe and may the force be with you.
Buy my book, or I will Photoshop your face on Gary Vee running mid-sprint and say, you just gotta want it more.